My name is Amara, and I need to tell you something that happened to me. Something so painful that I'm still healing from it, but I have to share it because maybe, just maybe, it will help someone else who's going through what I went through. You know that feeling when you love someone so much that you'd give them your last breath? That was me with my husband. I thought love meant sacrifice. I thought if I gave him everything, he'd love me forever. I was so wrong. We had nothing. Some nights we went to bed hungry because we had to choose between food and keeping the lights on. But my husband had this dream to start a construction company. Every night he'd talk about it with such passion that I could see it too. We didn't have money to start anything. That's when I made the decision that changed everything. I took my grandmother's wedding ring, the only valuable thing I owned, and I sold it. When I handed him that money, his eyes filled with tears. He said, "Amara, I promise you, when this business takes off, you'll never have to work again. You'll have everything you deserve." I believed him. God help me, I believed every word. While he focused on building the business, I worked 3 jobs. I cleaned offices at night, sold vegetables at the market in the morning, and washed clothes for neighbors in the afternoon. My hands were always cracked and bleeding, but every night when I came home and saw him planning, I felt proud. We were building something together. And it worked. Within 2 years, his company was thriving. He had trucks, employees, big contracts. I watched him transform from a man who borrowed money for cement to someone who other businessmen respected. I was so happy. I thought finally we could rest. Finally, we could enjoy the life we built together. But success changed him completely. He started buying expensive clothes and saying I looked shabby. He went to business events alone because I wouldn't fit in. When I tried to improve myself with English classes and nicer clothes, he'd find new reasons why I wasn't good enough. The worst part was watching him look at me like I was an embarrassment. This man, who used to call me his queen, now couldn't stand to be seen with me in public. Then came the day my world ended. He walked into our house and said, "Amara, we need to talk. I want a divorce." At first I laughed because I thought he was joking, but when I looked at his face, I saw he was serious. Dead serious. I asked him why. He said the words that still echo in my head today. "Amara, I've outgrown you. I need someone younger, prettier, more sophisticated. You're holding me back." I reminded him of everything. The ring I sold, the jobs I worked, the dreams we built together. You know what he said? "That was your choice, Amara. I never forced you to do any of that." Can you imagine hearing those words from someone you die for? It felt like he reached into my chest and ripped out my heart while it was still beating. 6 months later, I was living in a tiny room with our 2 children, struggling to buy food, when he called. He said he had a job offer. His new wife needed help around the house. I could work as their cleaner. I wanted to hang up, but then I looked at my children's thin faces and empty plates, and I swallowed what was left of my pride. So there I was, cleaning the mansion I helped him buy, washing dishes in the kitchen where I used to cook our meals, scrubbing floors in the house that should have been our dream home. His new wife was everything I wasn't. 23 years old with perfect skin and body, she moved like she owned the world. When he wasn't around, she made sure I knew exactly where I stood. She'd make me clean the same room twice just because she could. She called me names that cut deeper than any knife. Old woman, ugly, pathetic, used goods. But I endured it all because my children needed to eat. One afternoon, while cleaning their bedroom, I heard her on the phone. What I heard made my blood freeze. She was laughing, telling her friend, "This stupid old man thinks I love him. I'm just waiting for the right moment to take everything and disappear. He hasn't even noticed $50,000 missing from his accounts." My heart broke for him. Despite everything, I couldn't let him be destroyed like this. That night, I tried to warn him. I said, "Please, I need to tell you something important. I heard your wife talking and she's planning to steal everything." Before I could finish, she appeared, wrapping her arms around him and saying, "Honey, why are you listening to the help? She's just jealous of what we have. She's trying to break us up with lies." He looked at me with disgust and said, "How dare you try to poison my marriage? This is exactly why I left you, Amara. You're bitter and jealous." Then she did something that showed me exactly who she was. She looked at me with a sweet smile and said, "Baby, if you really love me, you won't believe a word this woman says. Because if you do, it means you don't trust me. And if you don't trust me, maybe we shouldn't be together." I watched his face change. I saw the panic in his eyes at the thought of losing her. She had him exactly where she wanted him. That's when she suggested he teach me a lesson. She pointed to the dog's food bowl and said, "Since she wants to act like a jealous dog, make her eat like one." I'll never forget the look on his face. For just a moment, I saw the man I used to know. But then she threatened to leave him if he didn't prove his love for her, and I watched him choose her over his conscience. He grabbed a bowl of dog food and threw it on the floor in front of me. His voice was shaking when he said, "Eat it, Amara." I looked at my children watching from the doorway with tears streaming down their faces. I got on my knees and ate that dog food while she recorded it on her phone, laughing like it was the funniest thing she'd ever seen. But she wasn't done. She told him that since I clearly didn't appreciate their generosity, I should sleep outside for a few days. Again, I saw him hesitate. Again, she reminded him that a man who really loved her would do anything she asked. For 3 nights, I slept outside in the cold rain with only the family dog for company. The same dog whose food I was forced to eat was now the only living being showing me kindness. I could hear my children crying for me through the windows. On that 3rd night, soaked and shivering, I looked up at the dark sky and whispered, "God, I don't know if you can hear me, but I have nowhere else to turn. I gave everything I had for love, and this is what I got. Please, if you see me, help me." The next morning, everything started to change. A woman came to the gate asking for me. She remembered me from the hotel where I used to work years ago. She owned a chain of cleaning companies now and needed someone trustworthy to manage her newest location. Within 6 months, I went from sleeping outside with dogs to managing 30 employees. Within a year, I had my own small business. Within 2 years, I owned 3 successful cleaning companies and was making more money than my ex-husband ever dreamed of. But the real victory wasn't his downfall. It was watching karma do what I could never do. That young wife finally made her move. One morning, my ex-husband woke up to find her gone along with every penny he had. She'd cleaned out all his accounts, sold his cars, even mortgaged the house. She left him with nothing but a note that said, "Thanks for the good times, old man." His business collapsed because I was the one who knew all the clients personally. Without me, they took their contracts elsewhere. He went from millionaire to bankrupt in 6 months. The day he showed up at my office, I almost didn't recognize him. The expensive suits were gone. He looked sick and fragile. He fell to his knees and begged me for help. He told me the doctor said he was dying. All the stress had destroyed his health. Everyone he thought was his friend disappeared when the money ran out. I could have walked away. I could have let him suffer like he made me suffer. But that's not who I am. I paid for his medical treatment.
I gave him a place to live. I made sure he had food and medicine because my children deserved to see their father treated with dignity, even when he couldn't treat their mother the same way. You see, the greatest victory wasn't his downfall. It was that after everything I went through, after eating dog food and sleeping in the rain, I never let the pain turn my heart cold. I learned that love isn't about how much you're willing to sacrifice. Real love is about knowing your worth. I learned that sometimes the person you die for is the person you need to live without.